Well, hello, guys. Kevin the Comic Doctor coming to another episode of What's in the Press. That's right, the show where I showcase many of the comic books that are submitted to me week after week by so many of my awesome clients. And you know what? I thought I wasn't going to skip this episode this week because I'm behind, guys. I'm always seem to be behind the eight ball here. I can't seem to get ahead. But a couple of big books came in a couple of days back, and I wanted to get up here and show you these books. I also wanted to show you the next batch that are coming up. And if you're wondering what month I'm in right now, well, if there's smaller orders, I'm working on books from October actually, but still larger orders. I'm still fighting with some books from August, September. Anyhow, I don't want to talk about it. It's very depressing, but we're working our best to get on top of these. I finished a bunch of books today. This afternoon when I got back from work, and Charlo's at the shop working daily as well too. And what I do is I go over there once in a blue moon and see how he's doing. And I was so happy. I went to the shop yesterday, and he left me a stack of books, probably around 20, 25 books, and only three had to go back in. And that's awesome. That's exactly what I want to see. So we're getting there, guys. We're getting there slowly but surely. Again, thanks to everybody for your patience, your support. You all know it's a crazy, hairy time for the comic world, the comic book hobby. And I'm not alone. All good pressers I hear are months and months behind. So I'm in good company, I think. I'm in good company. But guess what? Like I said, I've got a lot of books to share with you today. But before I get there, guys, remember, if you like winning free stuff, you come to the right place. You might want to hit that subscribe button because you know what? The next giveaway is going to happen on March 30th when that new Moon Knight show drops on Disney Plus. I'll be giving out a few copies of Moon Knight, some nice copies, some Bill Sienkiewicz books here, 2 copies of number 8, a copy of number 24, another copy, one of my favorites, number 29. So, like I said, if you like free stuff, like giveaways, hit that subscribe button, and always remember to comment in the comment section below. You can comment on the stuff we look at here because when I hit 1,500 subscribers, I'm going to be having a $250 gift certificate giveaway for my service here at the Comic Doctor's office. So be sure to leave a comment. Okay. It shouldn't be a super long show and tell today. Like I said, I have one big order and 2 big books to show you. If you saw the thumbnails, I think you know exactly what that is. All right. First off, we have A House of Secrets number 92. I'll go to the big screen here, guys. And by the way, where's my big screen? Main window right there. These books come to us from James out of Toronto. And again, a nice copy of House of Secrets number 92. I need to get another basket here to collect these. One sec. There we go. James also submits a copy of Amazing Spider-Man 101. I'm going to shift over a bit to give the comics more room. There we go. Copy of Hulk 180. As I always say, the first appearance of Wolverine. Many would disagree, but hey, it is what it is. Been seeing these come in more often. James S. out of Toronto had a whole smorgasbord of Cerebus books. Well, here we have a Cerebus number 1, which is starting to heat up as well. A copy of Star Wars number 1. Yes, Star Wars 42. Been seeing this book over the last 8-9 months is like almost a weekly occurrence. As well as this one, X-Men 129, first appearance of Kitty Pryde. And I hope you've noticed I went onto YouTube and learned a little bit more about my camera. I think the picture quality is a little more stable, a little brighter, and hopefully it's okay. Let me know in the comment section or in the chat section, how does the picture look compared to a couple of days ago? I look like a zombie 2 or 3 days ago. Here you go, guys. Look at this. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 1. Third print. Nonetheless, super hot book. Even second and third prints of this book are garnering some serious dollars. You can't have a number 1 without a number 2. Look at how my blocking the light in my face there. Number 3 as well. Oh, right there. Oh, I love this, man. Batman, number 227. Batman 251. This is very reminiscent of Peter's books. Remember Peter with all those DC books? They all came back last week. Peter picked those books up on Saturday at the shop. He had a lot of these books in his collection as well. Batman number 411. Noon Teen Titans number 2. The first appearance of Deathstroke. And of course, the first appearance of Cyborg in DC Comics Presents number 26. Then we have, now I think this is He-Man's first appearance in comics. I believe it is. And DC Comics Presents number 47. I always forget if Marvel or DC. I think it was DC that came out first with He-Man, and then Marvel took over the IP later on. Copy of Wolverine number 1 from the Wolverine miniseries, Frank Miller, 1982. Nice copy of She-Hulk number 1, another book that we see here very regularly. And last but not least, in this collection, we have a copy of Swamp Thing number 37. And I think, well, it's a newsstand copy. I don't believe it's a Canadian price variant. But anyways, a lot of really nice key books that James has submitted today. Thank you, James, for that. Let's get over to the chat section. Let's see who's here today. If anybody has any questions. And by the way, if you have any questions about comic book pressing, comic book investing, collecting, CGC submission, all that wonderful stuff, now's a great time to ask that question. Go over to the chat section, and you'll find the chat section on the right hand of your screen. And you can go ahead and ask a question right there. Happy to answer any questions that I can. Let's go over to the chat right now and see who is here. We got a few people here today. All right, bring my chat window up. We'll go to the top. We'll go to the very top. First off, Akichi says, "Good evening, Kevin. I won't be able to make the live stream, so I figured I would post a question. Now, I was curious if it's possible to reattach a comic page to the staples. I sent a photo to Messenger. I looked for that photo, and I couldn't find it, so I'm not sure what Messenger you sent it to. I guess it was Facebook Messenger. Maybe you sent it to the Comic Doctor page, and that's why I haven't seen it yet. But to answer your question, I think Wayne actually also adds on to that. Yes, how can tape be used at all as it not to be considered qualified or restored? Well, if tape is on your book, it is not restoration. Okay, it is not even qualified. You can. I totally once I had a Brave and the Bold 27 first Justice League of America, and it had a tear right down. The front cover was torn right in half. So I retaped it. I taped it back on. Book came back, I think, 1.8. No tape on cover. Another time, same book. It was another copy of a Brave and the Bold 27. The book was falling apart. I basically took the whole book apart. Where the staples were going through, it was all ripped and torn. So there was no way the staples could actually catch on to anything. So I basically, all the pages that were torn. I put a little piece of acid-free tape on all the pages. I repressed the whole thing. I punctured holes where the staples would go. I used the original staples, and I reassembled the book. The front cover was totally split in half. I retaped that as well. I pressed it closed so it would have a nice seam on it. Poked holes in there. Reassembled it. Book came back again. I believe a 1.5 or a 1.8, and it said that time, large amount of tape on cover or something like that, or tape throughout book, whatever. So yes, tape, they do not consider tape to be restoration at all. So we are free to use tape to our heart's content. Okay. There's a book I'm going to show you soon, just in a few moments, and I'll be talking about tape there as well. So thank you for that question. But yeah, tape is the way to do it. Now, Akichi, if you're saying that the book has been torn, but there's some meat left on the paper, you can sometimes lift the staple up and flatten out the paper and close it. Sometimes that's enough to hold it shut, but that's not a permanent solution. Especially if the book's being handled, there's a good chance it's going to all come apart again. Okay, let's go back to the chats and see what we have. Oh, come on now. There we go. Sam, hey, how you doing? Frozen Tundra of Toronto. You're darn right. Hey, there's James from Richmond Hill. David Ross in the house from Montreal. How's it going, Dave? Johnny Rutt, how's it going, comic community? I think we're all doing pretty good on this cold, wintry night. Akichi did show up. I'm here in live. LOL. I didn't think I'd be able to, but I am hoping possible to fix it without somehow being considered restored. Yeah, if you add tape, it's not restored. Johnny Rutt, hello from, Johnny, a fellow Oshawa Ontarianian. Excellent. Sam, you make him work late. Yeah, no, he's home now. Charlo is home now. Rob collects. Love the movies t-shirt. Are you a big Kevin Smith fan? I like Kevin Smith movies. My favorite being Clerks number 2. Did not care for the last Jay and Silent Bob movie. I couldn't even get through it. It was terrible. Absolutely awful. But yeah, up until that movie, I'm not like a diehard fan, but I do like his sense of humor, and I do like his films. Alaska, Jim Alaska, how's it going from Alaska? Thanks for joining us. Camera looks good tonight. Yes, thank you very much, James. Like I said, fiddled around with some of those settings, and I think I fat fingered something last time, but I fixed it today. I went back to default and then just started tweaking, and I think I look fantastic. I think I look very handsome tonight, so that's good. Very well lit. Johnny Rutt says, ASM 101 is hot. Yes, first appearance of Morbius. I guess it would be. Johnny Rutt says, I won a Hulk 182 for $39. Johnny, good for you, man. I've never won a comic with that kind of a deal. Good evening, Doc. Smash that like button, the thumbs up. Yes, Big D's in the house, guys. Please, only 5 likes and 31 people in the room there. Guys, hit that like button, just like Big D says. Do me that favor, won't you? By doing so, it really helps the analytics here at YouTube. And you know what? When people start looking for comic book content, YouTube will direct them over to me and our channel, and we can grow it more, and we can get to that 1,500 subscriber mark, and I can give that $250 away sooner rather than later. James is looking for a high grade number 1. Well, James, this is not a high grade one. This will probably come out like a 6, I think, when it's all said and done, I think. Your camera looks amazing, Johnny says. Well, great. That's good. It should be crystal clear. Get the lights out. Camera settings are great. Excellent. Looking sharp. Good to hear. Wayne, I need... Oh, I just jumped on me. Wait, where to go there? Wait, I need to chat with you when my comics finally get done to determine the ones to go to CGC. But this time, I'll have to do fast track. Wayne, you're not far away, man. You're always welcome to come by the shop, and we can shoot the breeze and figure out exactly what books can go and what books can stay. Picture looks good. That's excellent. Hello, James from New Mexico. Excellent. How you doing, James? I bet you're a lot warmer than we are. For the newbies, can you tell us what can't be pressed or cleaned? What books do you have the best success with? So what books can't be pressed or cleaned? I think every book can be pressed or cleaned to a certain extent. The certain books that I find sometimes you don't see as much, results with are those thicker covered books. You know, I recently did some, I think was it Akira? Was it Akira books I just did? I'm not sure what they were called, but they were a thicker, if the cover stock is thick, it becomes less malleable and less responsive to the press. Can you still press them? Yes, you can. Can you improve problems? Yes, you can. But if the defects are significant on a Dark Knight Returns, or a thick, Venom, Lethal Protector, thicker cover, you're not gonna see as good results. Okay, can they be fixed and improved? Yes, but will the improvements be as dramatic as, say, a book from the 1970s or a book from the early 80s? No way. And then you also have to ask that question, Wayne, of course, should you bother spending the money to have a book cleaned or pressed? Is it valuable enough to do it? You spend $25 on the clean and press, you send it off for grading, you're paying for shipping and all the this and that and the other thing. Before you know it, you got $100 into the book. Is that book worth doing for $100? Is the book, when it comes back from CGC, is that book going to garner more than that? If it isn't, then maybe it is worth doing. But if a book is so far gone, or if the book's just not valuable enough yet, maybe you want to hold off and not work on the book, or have the book done. But generally speaking, unless the book is has tons of mold on the book, I don't like working on moldy books. It's not healthy, right? So if I get a book that's covered in black mold, I usually pass on that because you know what? I don't need to get sick for $25. I don't recommend anybody works on books that are moldy, right? But if the book's in decent shape or has, is intact to a certain extent, I'll work on it. But again, you're going to see a book very soon. In a few moments, you're going to say, Kevin, is it worth it? And we're going to look into that and figure out if it is or not. Okay. Hope that answers your question, Wayne. Johnny Rutt, Wayne, I see your comics on Marketplace. Amazing books, brother. Guys, I said this before. Wayne over on Facebook's got some great deals on comic books. If you're on a Facebook Messenger, get on over and have a look and follow Wayne. He's got some excellent books for sale. Wayne, give us your name on Facebook again so people can find you on Facebook Marketplace. Batman 251 is a heavy book. Nice blue chip DC. You're darn right, Neil. Hey, everyone. Neil's in the house. Peter G, someone broke into my collection. Yeah, Peter, it looks that way, doesn't it? She-Hulk is amazing. I always like She-Hulk. Dave House, Kevin, I pretty amazing video as always. Can't wait to get our second order into you. I know. Soon, David. Thank you. I appreciate that, man. I do appreciate that. Haven't sent your books yet. They're going to go very soon, though. Big D. Hey, okay, you guys are talking to each other. I love that. Johnny Stuff. Hopefully you will see the ones I have with Kev soon. Wayne, Johnny Rutt. How much do you charge for cleaning and pressing books? I got 10. I'd like to get done. Well, the base price is $25. $25 gets you a clean and press. Now, if the book is worth more than $1,000, the prices change, obviously. So go over to my website, or www.thecomicdoctor.com. The links, I think, over on YouTube here, and you can see I have a price list there. I even have an updated Canadian price list for CGC, so go over there and have a look. Jay Soul. Hi, Kevin. Hooray, my books are finally up. Yes, congratulations, James. They are finally up, and thank you once again for your patience. David V. Tape doesn't bother me on low-grade keys. You know what, Dave? Me neither. And I'll tell you, that Brave and the Bold that I did, the one I reconstructed, and I think there's a picture of it over on my Instagram, but you got to scroll way down because it was done a long time ago. I regret selling that book because it looked great. When I was done with it, I was so impressed with myself that I was able to reconstruct that book because it was a mess and it looked fantastic when I was done with it. RP, how's it going? Akichi says, okay, I can send a picture so you can actually see it. It's a Conan number 5. I just figured the Comic Doctor Facebook page would be the best place to send it. Yes, it is. And you know what? You said you sent it to Messenger. I went to my personal Messenger. I'll go over to the guys. And by the way, if you ever send me a message on Facebook Messenger, I don't always respond very quickly there because Facebook doesn't let me know I have messages over there. It's a real pain in the butt. And you used to be able to have a separate page for your business, but they make you have your business page with your personal page, and that's fine, but they don't let you know when you have a business messages. It's really annoying, and that's one thing about the Facebook setup I don't like. Love that movie, Clerks. Yes, me too. Cool winter night. Yes, pushing 70 night here, Doc. Thanks a lot, man. Greetings from Whitby. Ready for that snow, Kevin. RP. Yeah, it's kind of come down, I think. I went and got some salt. There was not much left from Canadian Tire. I ran out there before the stream because I had a feeling there'd be none left tomorrow, and I'm glad I went. There was no big buckets left. I had to buy little tiny, bundles of them. Cost me a lot more, but it's okay. At least I've got some salt for tomorrow. Thomas, I don't think you worked on my books yet from a while ago, but is getting custom labels still? Of course it is, Thomas. When you see your books on here, just let me know. When you see your books on here, send me a text and I'll write it on your invoice and I won't forget. If you don't do that, I will forget. No doubt. Not books, defects. No black mold. That's right. Do you a service to remove water stains? Now, Dave, I don't get into that. There is no. Somebody the other day on this channel when we were doing the unboxing said CGC is going to start. If somebody else cleans and presses the books, they're going to start marking them as restored. And I laughed at that. And I thought, come on now. They press and clean themselves. How can they go and do that, right? But I got to thinking about that comment. And perhaps you guys have been noticing this as well, but I have. There's been a lot of guys out there. I won't mention any names. There's a lot of YouTube channels out there with guys experimenting with wet cleaning, solvents, detergents, Watered down, of course, but nonetheless, still experimenting. And you know, I often talk about Sanderson Studios. Sanderson's a pro. Like, this guy's been doing it for years, and you know, he's got a good relationship with CGC, and his books come back exactly as he says they're going to come back: conserved, blue label, or whatever, restored. Anyways, there are a lot of guys now trying different things, and in a lot of cases, they're hurting these books. You can't see it to the naked eye necessarily, but under a black light, under some scrutiny, you are going to see that the book has been tampered with. Okay, so if we're talking about that sort of thing, someone cleaning a book with water or with some kind of solution or detergents or solvents, like I said, then maybe they're going to start chomping down on that. Is that the word? Chomping down? Is that the word? Is that the expression? My gosh. They're gonna start maybe looking into that a little further. They're gonna maybe scrutinize the books a little more. So that if books have been tampered with, they're going to make note of it, and perhaps they're going to get qualified labels or restored labels. I could certainly see that happening. So again, when you ask that question, do I remove water stains? I understand how to remove water stains. I don't get into it because it's extremely time consuming. And like I've said before, it's not as simple as it looks. And oftentimes when you start playing with books like that, you are opening up a huge can of worms. And oftentimes you can make matters a lot worse. So I do not do that. I don't get into it. No, I don't. In fact, Roy gave me a copy of Conan #1 months ago. It's a low grade copy. He wanted me to get rid of the water stains. Yeah, I can do it for you. And it's still there. And I'm probably just gonna give it back to him. And well, no, I won't. I'll do the work. I'll do it. It takes time, right? And it's very meticulous, and again, things can go wrong. So I don't do that on other people's books. I'm not a professional in that regard. I don't profess to be I'll do dry cleaning. I'll do a damn good job dry cleaning your book. I'll do a damn good job pressing your book, but I'm not gonna wet clean your book. And to remove a water stain, you have to introduce fluids back to the book again, and I just don't want to do that. So I hope that answers your question. Wayne's giving his name out. Johnny, I've sold a few on Marketplace, and RP says, hey Kevin, maybe how does the white page off-white thing work when it's a modern book? Aren't they a whole different type of paper? Yeah, and you know what? You're going to notice on modern books, RP, generally speaking, they're white pages. Yeah. Even if you have a book that's primarily black, like say you have a book, because the new paper, oftentimes, most of the book will be like colored from bottom, that there's no white on the book at all, or in the inside pages, and they'll still say white pages. So, I mean, yeah, it doesn't really make sense in a lot of cases for modern books. You're right there, RP. So they just list it as a white pager. They might want to say something like NA or not applicable, perhaps, but they just still do that. Henry from Quebec is here. Hello from rainy Montreal, freezing rain and snow to come. Yes, us too, Henry. Us too. Johnny says, I will look. Thank you. I got to plow the snow. Ooh, yes, we all do soon. Kichi says, well, I guess I know where I'm sending my Conan 1 to 5. 5 to get fixed if you can do that for me and press and clean all of them and send them for CG for me. Kichi, I'd love to help you. Not a problem. You know what to do. Go over to my website, fill out a submission form, get in the queue, and then send your books in. And you know what you do? You just wait. You wait. And by the way, I don't know if you know this or not. If you guys have submitted order forms or submission forms since November, I've kind of put a hold on that. Well, today I responded to all of those people who've been waiting. If you have been waiting since, I think, November to get your submissions in, I have some room here. I can take books in. The wait time is still ugly, guys. I'm still saying anywhere from 6 months up to 12 months. Again, depending on the CGC tier, right? And if you decide you want to use fast track, it'll be a bit quicker. But generally speaking, I don't think most are going to hit 12 months, but I'm just saying that to prepare you that could possibly happen. I thought CGC's turnaround right now would be back to almost where it was 4 years ago. Guess I was a little too optimistic. And even for myself, I thought I'd be a little more ahead of myself, and I'm not. So, but anyways, if you did submit or put a submission form together or created a submission form since November and you've held off, or I sent you an email to hold off, I'm telling you now, the floodgates are open. You're more than welcome to send your books in now or drop them off on Saturday morning in person at my shop in Oshawa. Okay. You know what? Let's go over and look at the other two books, because I think a lot of people are just waiting for these two books, and these two books are great. First of all, I'll come back to the chat. If you have any more questions, just go ahead and leave it, and we'll get there in a second. But all right, guys. First off, I was going to crack it today and start working on this, but I wanted to show it to you first in its slabbed form. This comes from Craig out of Toronto, and I talked about this the other day. I don't know if it's gonna focus. There we go. Really nice, solid copy of Amazing Spider-Man #1. The book does have some issues on the back, and you're not going to be able to see it. Well, you can see it's kind of dirty in the back. There is some red transfer ink, I guess you could call it, and there's some red transfer ink on the front as well. The submitter hoped that red transfer ink would come off, and it will come off in some areas, but when it's over the gray or over a colored area, you really can't do much. You can give it a quick dry clean, and if it comes up, great, but there's a good chance it's not going to. That being said, this book is a 6.0, like I said, a 6.0 ASM 1. It's got a crack in the slab, as you can see right there. There's a crack by the Human Torch's head. So the question is, Kev, do we send it in and give it reslabbed, or do we have some fun? Do we have some fun? Do we try to, press and clean it, or and send it in for a regrade? So that's what we're going to be doing. And again, I didn't think it was a good idea. I said I would just reslab it. But you know what? There are things on this book that can be fixed. So the owner wants to give it a shot. But let's go over to GP really quickly and see potentially what could happen. Let me get you over there right now. And I think my there we go. We're at GP. This is the GP analysis, as you know. All right, let's have a look. Wow. Wow. 9.6, 262,000 is probably more than that now. But anyways, let's get down to a 6.0. A 6.0 right now, right here. Last sale in December was $25,301 US. So we crack that book. We take it out, and we get a 6.5. The book jumps up to 38.4. Right? So you're basically jumping up more than $10,000, almost $15,000. Almost $15,000. Okay? If it goes to a 7, and we haven't had a sale since, December, there we go. If it goes to a 7, the book pretty much almost doubles. Jumps to $46,000 US. So you ask yourself, if you had this book, old label, visible problems, and the book is currently valued at, $25,000 or give or take, and you potentially could jump up, to 6.5 to a $38,000 book, or up to a $42,000 book if it hits a 7.0. Would you take that chance? Would you take that chance? Let me know in the chat section. Would you do it? Would you gamble that? Would you risk it? If it was my own book, my own book, I might. But being that it's someone else's book, I tend to err on the side of caution. And we're going to talk about the cost in just 1 second. It's going to cost. It's not going to be cheap to do this, right? But let's go down and look what happens if the book goes from a 6.0 to a 5.5. Right here, last sale of a 5.5 was actually in December as well. Oh no, that was a 5. Sorry, where's the 5.5? 5.5 is right there. So last sale of a 5.5 was actually more than the 27,000. Sorry, than the where's the 5? Sorry, where's the 6? Right there. Right here. Okay. So the 5.5, the 5.0 is actually sold for $3,000, almost more than $3,000 than the 6 did in the same month. Okay. So that kind of makes it feel a little bit better. You think, well, if it goes down to a 5, it's still worth it's still worth, 28,000. But a lot of people do some averaging here. They'll say, well, if a 5.0 sold for 28 and a 6 is 25, then a 6 is really 30. You know what I mean? That's what they're going to say. But let's look what a 5.0 is. And a regular 5.0, sorry, where's a 5.5? 5.5 is 27. So we're all the same. Really, we're in the same ballpark, aren't we? We're in the same ballpark. It seems that the 5.5s and the 5.0s and the 6s are all, within that $25,000 to $30,000 window. But if it does go up, holy cow, the book climbs. It climbs fast. Even a 0.5 bump, the book goes up 10 grand. If it goes up a full grade point, the book goes up almost double. It's a $48,000. Oh my Lord, a $48,000 book. I'm happy to say I also have a 5.0. I have a 5.0 of my own that I'm going to work on. And I think it potentially could be a 7 as well. Quite excited about doing that. Nothing wrong with having a $50,000 comic book. But anyways, what would you guys do? If this was yours, would you do it or not? We're going to do it. We're going to do it. And I'll put some before and after pictures over on my Instagram. So please go over to Instagram and follow me there too, so you can see the results of this book. And then off the CGC it goes. It'll go off probably, it's going to go very soon. I'll say that right now. It's going to go very, very soon. And it'll be back pretty quick as well. And we'll know. I would just get the slab replaced. That's me. But that's, I'm a bit of a coward that way. Next. This is the thumbnail, guys. And this ain't pretty, but it is an X-Men #1. And that's what a lot of people were looking at my thumbnail for there. Have a look at this one, guys. I'll zoom in here so you can see just how kind of rough she is. Now, this book has got tape stains all along here. Missing a chunk right down there. It's split. The cover is split right here. It's got like water damage. I can feel the water wrinkles here on down by the Iceman there. This is one rough book. If you were to send this to CGC right now, you'd probably get a 0.5 in the condition that it's in. And I've already started working on it. Actually, it had a lot of rolled edges along the top and side here. So I've already kind of taken that apart. I also removed the old dried up tape. It's gone. So now I'm going to just tweak it a little bit. I'm going to humidify the heck out of it. I'm going to reform the spine. As you can see, the spine is, let's go right there. The spine is totally rolled. You can see how it goes up to about there. So I'll reform the spine as well. I'm hoping when I'm done with this book, if we can get a 1 to 1.5 out of it, I'd be pretty happy. 1.5 would be amazing. It's not going to get a 1.8. It's just no way. And there'll be tape on this book. The back cover of this book, the back corner was hanging on for dear life. And as I took it out, it flaked right off. So the back corner of this, behind the Iceman here, over here, this piece flaked off. I have it though. So I'll be putting it back on with some tape. So X-Men #1, even in a point, I'll go right there. Even in a 0.5, the book is extremely valuable. You know that. I know that. And this one definitely needs the work. And you know what? People say, well, is it really worth it? Yes, of course it's worth it. Let's go back to GP. Let me prep it first though. A book like X-Men #1, any of these, Silver Age keys, these Marvel keys are critical. And you want to improve them as best you possibly can. Let's see if I can get this working here. That's the one. Yeah, right there. Issue #1. Let me get you back to GP. There it is. Okay, here we go. Check this out. All right, we're at X-Men #1 right now. I will scroll down, and of course, we're going to go way, way, way down just to see what a 0.5 is going for. Wow. All right, let's go. 0.5 right here. $3,900 US, sold last November. And we get up to a 1, what happens? Check it out. $3,900. It jumps up to a 1. It jumps up to a $5,760. So right there, right? From almost $4,000, it jumps up to just under $6,000. All right. So definitely worth doing. And then if we can snag it and nail a 1.5, $7,700. So potentially, this book could go from a $3,000 book up to, a $7,700 book. That's an amazing windfall. Why you would not try that is beyond me. Now, again, Do I think that's going to happen? Do I think we're going to get 1.5? I'll feel better when I see it. I'm still thinking 1, but you never know. I've seen some pretty awful looking 1.5s. So we're certainly going to give it a shot and get this book as pretty as we possibly can. It will look a hell of a lot smoother, a hell of a lot straighter when I'm done with it. Now, before I let you guys go, I want to talk a little bit about cost, right? Well, how much does it cost to do all this? Well, on a book like this, right? Again, CGC is basing it on the value. So you go over to CCS's website or the CCS tab over the CGC website, and you look up what it costs to press. And if I remember correctly, and I might be wrong, I think it's like 3%. I think it's around 3%. So if I get my there's a calculator right here, just to get an idea. So if you get we put $25,000 value, it's gonna be the same as that Hulk 181 I sent in. I'm pretty sure. No, yeah, it's probably gonna be about $800, give or take, to press it. Give or take, it's going to be, that's my fee. CGC's fee to grade it will be another probably close to $1,000. Then you're looking at shipping it, and that's going to go international express. It'll be there in a day or two, so it's probably another $100 to ship it. And then another, for insurance. What I do for these big value books, I charge $7.50 per $1,000 one way. So on a $25,000 book, it's like 180. Whoa, 1 second. 7.5 times. Come on now. I keep hitting the wrong button. Oh my Lord, this calculator stinks. 7.5 times 25. Yeah, about $190 one way for insurance. And that's covering this book for the full value of the book while in transit. So that'd be like $400 there and back. It's not cheap. It all adds up. So you're probably looking at around around $2,500, give or take. I say the word gamble, if it works out, it's an investment, is it not? I mean, if it works out and this book comes back a 6.5 or if it comes back a 7, my gosh, imagine the book comes back an 8. Forget about it. I don't think that's going to happen, but say it comes back a 6.5 or a 7, it's certainly worth doing. If it comes back the exact same grade, however, or if it drops to a 5 or a 5.5, then we're going to be crying a little bit, right? And it's par for the course, guys. I mean, these are big boy games. Are you going to try to do this or not? Anyways, again, what did you think? Would you do it? Let me know. I'm going to the chat section right now. I'm curious to know what you guys think and what you guys would do if the ball was in your court. If the ball was in your court. Let's see here. No, I'm already seeing people. Let's see here. Thomas Grant, you have an ASM 300 with the smallest water stain on it. You promised to get it out and turn into a 9. Yeah, I know, eh? Wayne, I got that email, but that was technically an add-on. No problem. Hey, Luke, how's it going? Peter's in the house too. Hey, Peter. Go for the crack, Peter says. Do you crack for restoration? Do you check for restoration? On Aaron, do I check for restoration? Good question. Yes and no. Yes and no. If I see restoration as I'm doing my work, I of course make note of it and I contact the owner and let them know. Do I thoroughly look through a book for restoration? The answer is no. I just don't have the time to do that. I don't have the time to do that. And even if I did have the time to do that, would my examination be enough to satisfy CGC? You know what I mean? They have their own ways of detecting color touch, for example, or whatever. But generally speaking, if I see it, I let you know. And you know what? If the color touch is pretty obvious, it just stands out immediately. It stands out immediately, right? And usually color touch or any kind of restoration work is done to the cover. Usually, you rarely see it on the inside of the book. It's to the cover. So if something feels kind of funny or weird, you can tell if a book's been reglossed. You can feel it. You can even tell if a book's been cleaned. If a book's been cleaned or well, I was talking about having these books, submerged in fluids to be cleaned. You can tell the grain on the paper raises. You can tell the book has been worked on. So if I detect that, I of course let you know. But I don't sit there with like a magnifying glass and black lights and all kinds of apparatus to try to figure out if the book's been restored or not. And I often say that I kind of put that back to the owners. It's your due diligence to inspect your books thoroughly, make sure that all the pages are attached. There's no detached, pages. That there's no, clippings. There's no clippings taken out of the book. No ads have been removed. No pages are missing. Because these things can slip by us, right? And so it's up to the people sending the book in to do that before you send your books in. And you should do that with your own books before you send them in, especially if you're sending lots of books in, because it's very expensive. The last thing you want to do is send a big book in and pay big money to have it, worked on and pressed and cleaned and graded, only to find out it's restored, right? And again, while I will tell you if I see it, I'm not I'm not the authority on that, I guess you could say, because I'm not looking for it specifically. Okay. Thanks, Aaron. Thomas, wow, yes, Johnny, that ASM one is beautiful. I'm starting to buy Journey to the Mystery with Thor. Thor is my big part of my personal collection. I love Thor. Awesome. I like Thor too. Jay Soul, does this mean I may see my books back by late summer, August, September? If books are going in right now to CGC, if they're economies, still pretty early. I'd say before that, but it could be. I guarantee I have some books at CGC right now that we will not see by summer. I have books still from this time last year I have not gotten back yet. I don't know what the hell's taken so long. It's really quite irritating, actually. Henry says, I would take the shot. Henry's a gambling man. Luke says, depends how much they paid for it. I think this book's been a part of their collection for a very long time, so I think that's why they're eager to try it out. GC just came in. Which price guide site was that? It's GPA. Comics GPA. GP Analysis. Thomas Grant, crack that sheet. Yeah, I got you, Thomas. Well, I'm going to. Mike Asher, how low risk to not take a shot on that stellar book? Well, you know what? If you send it in and don't do it, you're always going to wonder. You're always going to wonder, And I think that's what kind of bugs me about the AF-15 I sold so long ago. It was my intention to press and clean it and resubmit, and I never did. And it was an old label, 3.5. It probably was a 4.5, and I never did that. And so I sold it. I don't know what it is, and I'm sure the guy's done it, and I don't want to know now. But it always bothered me that I never found out, right? And I have books here I will not sell now because I need to know what they'd come back at after some work, unless I'm paid a serious premium for them, right? If I were me, I would crack that book and press it and clean it. So there's James's 2 cents. Phoenix Dr. Wu. I'm a coward too, but I'd go for a crack on that book 10 times out of 10. Thomas, ouch, looks brittle. Johnny Rutt, low grade, better than no grade. You know what, Tom? The X-Men #1 is not that brittle. The cover is a bit brittle, but the interior of the book is actually pretty decent. It's not cream pages. Iceman Snowball looked like holes in the book. It's still an all X-Men #1. That's right. Peter G, will that ASM cost $4K to submit? Like I said, around probably 25 to 3, in that range. Does reattaching a piece with tape on lower grades count as resto? No, it does not. All right, 3,900. All right. Dennis Mason's here. Hey, Dennis, how's it going? That's called the reading copy. Yeah, it could be. It's weird how a cracked case sells for a lot lower. Thomas, it's ridiculous, really. It should maybe sell for $100 less. That's it. Because you know what? How hard is it to get a book reslabbed? Big deal. It shouldn't sell for a lot less, but it does. It does. It's stupid. It's in labor, I guess. I guess you could say that, Dennis. They call these skills labor. What a dumb word. Laboring over a hot humidifier. I'm restoring a couple of guitars right now, and so yes, it's worth it. Yeah. What kind of guitars, Dennis? I don't know my guitars all that well, but I know there's big money in guitars as well. David V, worth it, especially when the comic doctor is doing the work. Damn right. Damn right, David. Thanks, man. Luke, what's the best way to determine if covers pages are trimmed? That's all. It's a really hard one. Usually, not always, but usually you can see the cut marks. It's almost, a lot of times guys use scissors. I'm not joking, to trim the covers. And so you can actually see the scissor marks. My Justice League #1, it's terrible. You can see where they trimmed it. Now some other than that, you have to measure the books out and kind of make sure it's the right size, but essentially it's oftentimes, from what I can see in my experience, you can actually see the scissor marks. You can see where they've actually cut the books. Mike Asher, what is the price difference between economy to fast track per book? So economy, you're looking at another, whatever the economy price is now. I got to have a list right beside. I just don't have the price. I think it's like 15 US more per book or 18 US more per book to go fast track. It's pretty pricey. You're not doubling the price, but it's increasing quite a bit. Guys, I'm telling you, the only time I use fast track are for books that I know I want to move fast. Other than, or books I'm giving away on the channel, and I want to have the books back quickly, so I'll get them pressed, or I'll get them graded, and I'll add fast track just for that reason alone. But other than that, if it's my own collection, I just send them in and wait. I just wait. Who cares? They're gonna come back. Don't worry. And I think most of you, honestly, are collectors, not sellers. I think. So just be patient. They're not going anywhere. They're just sitting there, and you're gonna get your books back eventually. And who knows? In the time the books are there, maybe something will happen. The books will go up in value. Who knows? Dave House says, can you explain the tiers at CGC that determine the turnaround times real quick? Well, hold on. It's just easier to do this. Let me just do this. Really. You want to see the CGC tier turnaround times? I'll show you. It's not hard to do. Let me just, where is it? Service and fees right here. Okay. I'm going to go to, I'm going to go back to the other screen for a second. All right. This, guys, just so you know, this is the current turnaround times at CGC. Let me show you. All right. So at the CGC site right now, CGC grading. Let's go down. So we got modern right here. Okay. Current. Oh, it's gone down a bit. It was 170 days for a while there. The modern turnaround time is 130 business days. Business day does not include weekends, does not include holidays, business days. You can, and if you want to cut that down, you pay $15 US and it knocks it down to 90 days. So 3 months. To be quite honest, whenever I have sent in fast track moderns, they've come back even quicker than that. But that's what they're telling people right there. Okay. Economy. You're paying, it is 195 days, 100 and almost 200 days. If you pay the extra $15, you're going from 35 US to 50 US. You're getting it done in 92 days. So almost the same pretty much as the modern books. Okay. So there you go. Standard, 73 days. No fast track for standard. And what sucks about standard is at one time, standard was 15 days. At one time, standard was 15 days. Now it's 73 days. Express is 16 days, and in the old days, it was 5 days. And walkthrough books, the most expensive books usually, those used to be 1 day. Now they're 7 days. So you can see, everything's relative. It's all changed. And also CGC now is slowing down again. We were right on time there. Now they're almost a month behind in opening parcels. So I have a way of combating this, and I've talked about this before, is when you send books that are either express or walkthrough, you have to indicate that on the box that you send the books in. So when they get the books, they know that they're faster tiers, and they won't keep them in waiting till, a month to open. They'll open them up within a couple of days. So what I do is I always make sure I have express books or walkthrough books going as well, so that every box I send has an EX beside it or an AWK beside it, because I don't want you guys waiting an extra month to get your books. Now, if I don't have a walkthrough book or an express book, you know what I'll do? I'll grab one of my own books, one book of my own. I'll shove it in there and pay the express fee. I don't care. I don't give a damn. But oftentimes, if I just wait a few days, I have some. I have some. It's not like I'm ever without walkthrough books or express books. They're always coming in. What that might mean sometimes, instead of I ship a book on Tuesday or Wednesday, I'll ship it on the following Monday, and I'll send it out with those. And again, instead of waiting a month, you're waiting 6 days. You know what I mean? Anyhow, there you go. Hope that helped. Hope that put it in perspective. And by the way, you can go to the website yourself. You don't have to be a member at CGC to check out their turnaround times. Just go to their website and have a look. Okay. Let's see here. Thomas Grant, I need to find some crack cases. Well, you know what? You're right. Crack cases you can get cheaper, and you can make some money on them if you get the right ones. For your costs or square bounds, still a different price, or is it just based on values of your tiers. Yeah, I used to charge more for square bounds. Now I don't. It's just the same as the regular comic book. If it's based on the value of the book, not the type of book that it used to be. I used to charge a little more for square bound books because, to be honest, a square bound book is a little different to press. And I'll tell you something, guys. I did 20 modern books last night, and it took me forever. Those modern books, guys, you think that the modern books are easier and faster. They're not. They're a pain. They're a real pain in the butt. I don't want to go into it now, but I hate working on that new plastic polymer paged books. I can't stand them. They're a real pain. Don't get me wrong. I can get some great results out of them. Like I can make them look fun. Like the Ultimate Fallout 4s, with the creases and all that, common problems. I can get that out. But it's not as simple as just throwing it in the press. There's more to it than that. And it takes more time. I'd much rather work on a book like this. Because these books, the newsprint books, are so much more forgiving. Oh my Lord. They're a pain. They're a real pain in the butt. I should charge more for modern books, to be honest. I can't stand doing them. And they take longer. They take longer to work on. Most of the time. Luke, personally, I would sell the ASM 1 and put it towards an AF15. Yeah, maybe he will do that. Maybe he will. Johnny Russ says, I can't wait. LOL. I collect more than I sell. You know what, man? I'm the same as you. I buy books to sell and they end up staying in my collection. It's not good. Prince Zodiac says, that's an awful vague statement that they're opening the books. Is that all they're doing? Well, yeah, they're opening I'll tell you, I'll go back really quickly to that, Prince Zodiac. You're right. Prince Zodiac is referring to this. Now opening comic book packages delivered on January 17th. What that basically means is books, if the book sits in their holding, in the receiving department in the box for a month, that does not count towards this. This starts the 130 days or the 195 days or the 73 days. That starts once the books have been opened. Until that time, the books are in limbo. They're in the receiving. You can check to make sure the parcels arrived. And they usually do, but they're just in a holding pattern until they open the box. Once they're opened, then the turnaround time kicks in. And even though the turnaround time kicks in, doesn't mean it's going to stick to that. If all of a sudden, to today, for example, you check your books, 130 days, that's not bad, and you check back in 2 weeks and it's jumped to 200 days, it's 200 days, not the 130 days you started with. You know what I mean? They will, if you were to call and complain, they'll say, well, now our turnaround time is increased by 50 days, and that applies to your submission as well. It's not nice, guys. It's not nice. But that's essentially the way the cookie crumbles. That's the way it works. And that's all I can say about that. Yeah, kind of stinky, but that's the way it is. Luke, how are the staples on the X-Men 1? Any notable grader notes on the ASM 1? The ASM 1's grader notes are actually, we read them, they're pretty good. The book it has some problems on the back that I know I can fix. The biggest problem with that book, it has, like I said, some red transfer marks on the book. Probably happened during printing, to be honest. And I know how CGC is when it comes to staining. They don't like staining. And so if I can't get that off, the book's going to be crisp when I'm done with it. It's going to look beautiful when I'm done with it. But if that red stuff's still on there, that still may hold it back. I don't think the book is going to drop below a 6. I really don't. But that being said, will it be enough to get them to a 7? I hope it is. Henry, why do pre-75 economy take so much longer than modern? I don't know. I think they get a hell of a lot more modern books in there, and maybe they're easier to grade, right? I do not believe they put the attention they do. I don't believe that modern books take the same amount of time and attention that an economy book takes. I think they sling through those modern books like a bat out of hell. I really do. And if you ask me, they look at every single page and they have 3 different graders, baloney. I just don't believe they do. I don't believe they do. I'm sorry. They say they do. They've said they've done that in the past. I don't think they do. Again, I watched a video recently from a guy, I don't know his name. He's got quite a good following too. And he had, like I mentioned the other day, it was a tri-covered So what do you call it? Superman, 18, first Doomsday, tri covered, and they made no mention of it. They made no mention that the book had 3 covers. How can you not see the book has 3? How can you miss that? Is all I'm saying. How can you miss the book had 3 covers? So I don't believe for a second that 3 people looked at that book, because if they did, one of the 3 would have noticed, hey, there's 3 covers on this book, right? No mention of it. So when I saw that, I'm like, come on, man. And even, so you have 3 guys working on one book, or you can have one guy taking a bunch of books. They can each do, many books instead of 3 of them doing the same amount. To me, it makes no sense. And to be honest, when it comes to modern books, I could give a rat's behind. I think one guy looking at it is good enough. Really, when you look at economies, though, that's where the books aren't always near mint. The books aren't always, as cut and dry. And I think that's why the economies take longer. But they both have a maximum of $400 value. So regardless if it's a book from 1971 or a book from 1965 or a book from 2020, if the book is worth $600, they're not supposed to go under either of those tiers anyway. They're supposed to go under the the standard tier, right? And if you got a book like Ultimate Fallout 4 that's even more than $1,000, it should go under Express, or if it's a really high grade, under Walkthrough. So, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. All I know is their modern times have gone down a little bit, because it was 170 a few weeks back. Now they're down to 130, but the economies are kind of staying put at that almost 200-day mark. I think the economies were over 200 there for a while there too. Excuse me, guys. So Dennis says, so physical comics are made from polymers and paper, which is oil and trees. When I mod a guitar, I want to feel the wood. Hence, I'm going with paper because I love trees and I'm grateful for them. You know what, Dennis? I love the old pulpy feel of old comic books, and I wish they would go back to newsprint. Yes, there is the life expectancy on newsprint is not going to be as long as these new polymer papers that they have, but I don't care. I like the smell of the old comic books. I like the feel of the old comic books, and I don't love the new. Don't get me wrong, the new ones look pretty. They look nice. I'm not saying they don't look nice, but it's different, and also they're very expensive, right? Where you're paying $4 or $5 for a comic book, maybe if you made it with newsprint, you could cut that price in half or more, right? So to me, newsprint all the way. I'd prefer newsprint all the way. Luke says, personally, I don't think they count pages on moderns. I think they have to count economies, and that too. More chance with ads being clipped out of economies than there are in moderns. But you know what? People have done things to moderns. Good test. Cut a page out of a modern, set it in, see what happens. Will it come back qualified? I have seen modern books come back qualified. I have seen that. Right? So, Mike Asher, Dave from Collector Comics had the tri-cover. There you go. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate that. So if you guys get a second, go over to Dave. It's called Collector Comics. And he's got a picture of Superman 18, I believe it is, the Doomsday cover, and he talks about that there, and he's asking that same question. Are 3 different people looking at these books? How in God's name did a tri-cover comic slip through the cracks? That was a question he's asking. So go check that out and see what you think. I thought it was a pretty good video, and got me to thinking, yeah, when it comes to moderns, I don't believe that's the case at all. Oh, Prince Zodiac, again, thank you so much for the tip, man. I appreciate it, guy. I appreciate that. Very generous. You've been tipping me all the time. I appreciate that, man. Hope the Moon Knight series is as good as it looks. I have a Moon Knight submission headed your way, hoping to get them back before season 2. Thanks, Doc. And I think they will. And I love Moon Knight. I've always loved Moon Knight. I don't know what it is for you, but for me, when I was a kid and I was into comic books, I knew about Spider-Man. I knew about the Hulk, of course, and Captain America and the Fantastic Four. But there were these other characters, I guess you'd call them B or C tier characters that I did not know much about, but they intrigued me. And Moon Knight was one of them. Iron Fist, Moon Knight, Ghost Rider. These dudes really caught my interest too, because they weren't the ones you saw in the cartoons, but they still when I get the odd comic book, or I inherited the odd comic book from my brother, I would see these characters interacting with Spider-Man or with Captain America or whatever, and I loved it. So that lore was there. And then when I started collecting comics in the 80s, Moon Knight started kind of coming back again, and so I used to pick those comics up. So yeah, I'm also a huge Moon Knight fan. I hope the series is good. Again, I've not been too crazy about the Disney Plus stuff that we've seen so far. I've liked it, but not loved it. I want to love it. I want to walk away from Moon Knight the same way I walk away from Ozark or Yellowstone, where I really, really, really enjoy the show. And hopefully we're going to get that from Moon Knight. Christopher Reynolds says, it was Dave from Comic Book Investment. Hey, Chris, how's it going? Yeah, so you saw that also. Where am I doing here? What am I doing here? David, CGC is all whacked right now. I still use them, but they are a mess, and one of my clients today sent me a link to ECS comic grading. Look, there's alternatives, man. You can go to CBCS. I don't think they're much better. You probably get a faster turnaround time with PGX or ECS, but if selling your comics is the end game for you, then you're just gonna have to wait. I'm telling you, don't want to go with these other companies. You're not gonna get the same money for them. Because the first thing someone's gonna do when they buy your PGX book or your ECS books, they're gonna beat you up. Excuse me, they're gonna beat you up on the price. And once they buy it, they're gonna send it to me or some other presser and have them crack, clean, press, and resubmit. So, anyways, be patient, my friends. But yeah, right, they are kind of whacked. My job, I search for intelligent life in YouTube. The only way to not suffer is to bypass the dumb because there was a bit, missed the 3 covers, that kind of thing. Yeah, I know. It's crazy, Dennis. Johnny Rutt, if I send you a pic of the books I'd like to submit, may I get your opinion of Slab or not? Sure, Johnny, but if you're in Oshawa, why don't you just come by my shop sometime? I'm at my shop every Saturday from 11 to 1, North Oshawa, in the Simcoe Street, in the No Frills Plaza by the Dairy Queen there. Pappy's comment got hidden, but I'll show it because it wasn't that bad. She said low key CGC are like crack dealers, and we are all hooked. Basically, yeah, low grade CGC. We are all hooked on that, and especially it's the blue chip stuff, the low grade stuff, the low grade ASMs and the old low grade X-Men's. Man, I had an X-Men 1.8. I got it for $500. I ended up selling it for $1,500, and I wish I kept it. The book is now worth like $4,000. Who would have thought, right? Who would have thought these books in this grade would still be worth that kind of? My 1.8 AF-15. It's almost, $30, $35, $40,000 book now. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Dennis says, yep, pulpy paper. So it turns yellow, but that's a beautiful thing. So, and that actually differentiates the book's quality later down the road. Because if we have a book that's white pages and it's pulpy, it means it's been taken care of. It's not been manhandled. It's been properly stored, and it makes it more rare as well, too, right? So that's a beautiful thing about what do you call it? Old paper. You know what? I'm gonna see. Can I do this now? I want to see if I can do this. Can I do I'd like to do if I can. Restore chat. I'm gonna do a don't go anywhere. I want to do ask you guys a question. Let me know what you think. I want to do a poll and see what you think. Do you prefer comics that were printed on newsprint? Let's see what you think. Do you prefer comics that are printed on newsprint? Here we go. There you go, guys. I just asked a question. Go on there and see what you think. I'd like to know what you think. I would prefer it. Would you prefer it? Let me know. Let me know. We'll keep going here. All right. Did the poll go out? I'm not sure the poll went. The poll did go out. Let's see here. Look at that. So far, 100% of you say yes, but let's leave it open for a couple more minutes. Yes, pulpy paper. Okay, David, if you give me an old comic any day, they are way cooler to me. I am biased. I was born in 66. You know what? The paper was all the way there to the 80s. Mike Asher, yeah, that is his YouTube channel, Christopher, but he is the owner of Collector Comics. Okay. CGC is a drug. Pappy, you know what? Like I said, I tell people that when they come to my shop and they brought an old collection from when they were kids and they've just discovered the whole cleaning, pressing, and grading thing, and they come over and they're all excited. I'm like, are you sure you want to do this, man? You are opening up a door of hurt. You're going to a place that's in some cases impossible to come back from, but they all want to step through that door. So what can I say? Dennis Mason, I like the yellow because it lets you know the smell's about to waft. That smell takes me back to grade 4 French class. Johnny Rutt, I love the smell of older books. I always smell the pages before I read. Me too. Liam Charon, how many Mega Grails X-Men 1 A15 have you had the honor of working on? I don't even know. Lots. I mean, many AF15s, many ASM 1s, more ASM 1s than AF15s, lots of X-Men number 1s, tons of Avengers number 1s, many Journey Mystery 83s. When it comes to Marvel stuff, I've done every single Marvel key, even predating even the ones that predate the superhero genre, right? Going back into the horror stuff or the sci-fi, done a lot of that stuff as well. And then I've even worked on early Action comic books, Action Comics, it was 9, 13, early Batman books. I think I even did the first Robin there, Tech. I forget what issue it was. Yeah, I've been lucky. And I think that's a big thing is I've worked on all types of paper. And that's what getting Charlo used to is the challenge, right? Getting him used to the different types of paper that were popular through each of the generations, because each generation of paper responds differently to being pressed and needs a different technique to being pressed, right? The principles are always the same, but there's little tweaks and things you want to do to make sure the press is as significant, or not significant, but as effective. That's a better word. Prince Zodiac says, hit the like button, guys. Yeah, if you wouldn't mind. We're almost done for the day. If you wouldn't mind hitting that like button, that would be great. Pappy, what's the most expensive and rarest book you ever worked on? I just worked, not too long ago, I worked on a Tales of Suspense 39. It was a $40,000 book. Wasn't that rare. I don't know if the first Iron Man's that rare, but I worked on that. I've worked on early Captain America books that are, 20, 30,000, Will you be open on more days in the future? Dave House asks, perhaps in the fall. Maybe in the fall I might be, but again, the main reason I'm not open during the week is not because I don't want to see you guys. It's because if people come to the shop to drop stuff off, I'm not working on comic books. I'm talking. So I have to relegate. It's not in my shop. While it's I have stuff for sale there. It's not really a comic shop per se, like your local comic shop. I don't have new books coming in. I will have stuff for sale, but maybe I'll add another day during the week, but it'll be again for only a couple of hours because I can't be away from the actual act of pressing books. I just can't, or nothing's going to get done. So when I go there, I want to focus on the books. And if I'm going to deal with customers people dropping off books every, hour, then it's pointless. Right. So that's why I do that on Saturdays. And I hope you understand that. Anyways, guys, I think that's been going for over an hour now. I do have to go. Neil, thanks again for that super chat, man. I do appreciate it. Guys, again, if you're new here, if you haven't done so already, please consider subscribing to the channel, liking the content, hit that notification bell. You'll be the first to know when I upload new videos or if I go live. I don't tend to upload videos anymore. I just go live. And if you're so inclined, if you're in a good mood and you want to tip, you can always tip. That's like Neil did today. He tipped, give me a nice $5 tip, and the tip option is the bottom right-hand corner there. Let us know you like the channel, ask questions, and maybe leave a tip afterwards, and I'll be happy to answer any other questions you might have. Anyways, guys, that's it for me. Oh, I'll be back. I might be back tomorrow for another unboxing. I might. Tomorrow. Like night. Not sure when, but tomorrow night sometime. If not tomorrow, it'll be over the weekend sometime. And you know what? Keep your eye on my Instagram. I'm going to try uploading some before and afters of these books as I work on them. And that, my friends, is pretty much it. I hope you had a fantastic day and enjoyed the show. And again, I'll see you very soon. Until then, bye for now. Have a good night.